It's a hot salami pizza with buffalo mozzarella and mint.
So have you been making lots of pizzas?
I've done quite a few
out?
pizzas. The pantry is quite famous for its pizzas. The secret to their pizzas, they have a nice thin base.
It's going to take the air out of it so it doesn't prove or rise when we're cooking it.
Nice and crisp, not too doughy, and they just use beautiful, simple produce.
Just use a traditional Napoli sauce in the middle.
Just a couple of really nice things on top of the pizza.
So tell us how you make the pizza base.
Well, you start off with 15 grams of yeast, and you add your sugar and your salt.
Which is how much?
So it's 20 grams of each.
Yep.
Just pop them in. And you add your 250 grams of lukewarm water or just tepid water.
OK, that's to activate the yeast?
Yep. And you add your oil as well.
Is that olive oil?
Yes.
What's that, a tablespoon?
It's about a tablespoon of olive oil.
Brilliant.
And you just set that aside, basically, and in a little while it'll just go a bit frothy.
Yep.
And I'll get going on the sauce for the base of the pizza.
Yep.
You've got chopped tomatoes,
yep.
So it's just about 1 tin of
So
it.
into a dry pan?
Yep. Basically, you just want to cook the liquid out of that, so it's
evaporate all the liquid,
yeah.
So it becomes a bit more viscous and tight.
Yeah, and to just really intensify the flavours and get that sort of cooked tomato flavour rather than the raw tomato. And then you just add some oregano, just dried oregano.
Yep.
Good pinch of salt.
Yep.
Some pepper.
Crack of pepper.
Yep.
And just cook that down. And how long would that take?
Oh, it'll probably take about 10 minutes. So while we're cooking our sauce, we need to get the oven preheated to basically as high as it can go, and we need to put pizza stone in there to heat up.
Pizza stone. Why pizza stone?
Basically, it distributes the heat evenly, and it means that the bottom of the pizza will crisp up at the same time as the top is cooking.
And how long would you leave that in there for, preheating?
A good 30 minutes, 40 minutes, just to get it as hot as it possibly can be.
OK, so while that's preheating, what's the next step? The
next step is to actually make the dough.
Yep.
So you've got your yeast mixture here that's is now reacting. It's gone a little bit frothy.
It's all those little bubbles on the top?
Yep. So you just pop that in a bowl, get it all out. And then you want to add your flour to your wet mixture a little bit at a time. That's 425 grams of baker's flour. Start using my hands at this point. Okay, so at this point I can turn it out.
All right, so now you're working the gluten in the dough?
Yeah, it's not sticky, but it's not really dry either. So, yeah, that slight tackiness is good. So you just want it to be really smooth and really elastic, that's about right.
Yep.
You just pop it in a clean bowl.
Yep.
Just cover it up, pop it in a warm place.
OK, so you're putting it to sleep?
Yep, just letting it prove, so it should double in size about.
Okay.
So I've got one that I prepared earlier.
Right, so it's been proving for 20 minutes, it's doubled in size, you've knocked it back. What's the next step? Next,
you just need to roll it out. For the size pizza stone, we have about 180 grams worth of dough.
Yep.
Yep. Just want
Bit of a technique there when you're rolling the dough out?
Just trying to get it as round a shape as possible.
Yeah.
About how thick is that, Julia?
It's about 1/2 centimetre. Yeah, you want it to be quite thin. You can vary it if you like, depending on just how crisp you like your base.
As thin as possible, I think, is quite nice. You haven't been flipping any doughs in the air, I hope?
No. Unfortunately, I'll leave that one to Andre.
Yeah. Do you want to put it on the pizza stone, I think?
Yep.
I think we should just dust that a bit so it doesn't stick. There you go. Voila.
Done.
Nice. Next step?
Next up, you have to dock your base so that the base doesn't rise when it's in the oven. This way it stays nice and crisp. There you go.
OK.
And then you put your sauce on.
Ah.
That's just down to room temperature. That's just been blended up as well, just to get a smoother consistency.
Yep.
You just need a nice even coating. And
can you do that without the tomato base? Because I'd prefer it with just olive oil or something like that. Would that work?
You can make lots of sort of a pizza bianca style with, just cheese, or you could use a garlic paste, or, you don't need to use tomato.
OK, what's next?
Next up, is your parsley.
Yep.
Flat leaf parsley, just chopped up nice and fine. And you put that on the base because if you put it on top, it basically burns. And then your cheese.
So that's just simple mozzarella.
Yes.
It's been shredded.
Yep. You don't want too much cheese because it does melt a lot.
Okay.
And otherwise you end up with a really gooey base. Next up is your salami.
Yep.
And you can put as little or as much of this as you want.
I mean, you could use, other than salami, you know, other meats, you know, prosciutto, capocollo, you know...
Pancetta, anything.
Yeah, pancetta.
You get your sliced tomatoes.
Right, you're going to pop that in the oven that you've preheated to as high as possible, you know, 300 degrees there, so extremely hot. And Julia, how long will that take to cook?
It should take about 6 to 8 minutes in a domestic oven.
Now tell me, your top 3 tips to make a beautiful pizza, what would they be?
I'd say, number 1, take the time to do the dough properly. You know, don't buy pre-bought dough or anything. Number 2, buy really good ingredients. And number 3, definitely don't overload your pizza.
Smells great.
The next step is just to basically dress it.
Yep. Okay, so what have you got there? You got the buffalo mozzarella?
It's one of my favourite cheeses. Just tear off good chunks of it.
The heat left in the pizza will just help melt that cheese right down to...
Yeah. Have some nice fresh mint. Just pop it on top.
A beautiful combination with the salami that's quite peppery, that sort of acidic tomato and that richness of the cheese will add a really great flavour to it. Delicious. So there you have it. Hot salami pizza with mozzarella, tomato and fresh mint.